What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching Changing Optics with Scott Roth. Today is Photography 101 and we're talking about leading lines, and one of the best ways to get that message across is to shoot underneath the George Washington Bridge. Alright, let's go. What's up, everybody? This is Scott Roth from Changing Optics. Thank you for watching. Today we are talking about leading lines, and one of the best ways to do that is I'm here at the entrance to the George Washington Park. If you follow the path all the way down, you'll sit back and get to the park. So this is a public street that we're on, but it's kind of a quiet road, and one of the cool things about this is the view. So I'm going to sit back and show you how to best utilize the view, but we are here underneath the George Washington Bridge. And leading lines is all about utilizing the lines of the bridge to get to the payoff, which is the other side. So leading lines is a big difference between shooting at this angle or shooting at this angle versus shooting directly underneath the bridge. So I'm going to set up some photos of that and go from there. So I have my camera here. So I'm shooting on a Canon 6D, and as you can see, you kind of got it lined up just about almost as perfectly centered as I can. So leading lines is all about utilizing the lines that are in the scene to bring the eye to what it is that you want to see. So in here, the payoff is the other side of the bridge, or it can be considered infinity depending on how you approach the photo. So if you look up at the bridge, as far as utilizing the lines and the patterns, the left side and the right side are symmetrical. There's a pattern that repeats all the way throughout the bridge. There's the roadway, the waters, all that kind of stuff. You want to utilize that to your advantage. So the kind of photo that we're going to be taking here is going to be, we're lined up right between those two center podiums on the podiums, or whatever you want to call those columns on the left and right. So those photos, that part of the photo is going to be on the left end and the right end, perfectly symmetrical. So a perfect example is that. I'm going to show you now the screen here. So now if you look on the back of my camera here, I want the left side of that photo and the right side of the photo to be perfectly symmetrical, and the leading line is going to be the actual bridge itself going to the other side. And the payoff is, of course, the other end of the bridge. There's actually a tiny little bit of a lighthouse that we're going to go there and also take some photos from, but not today. Today we're on this side, which is the Jersey side. So anyway, there's different ways that you can utilize leading lines. So this is just one of the ways. Leading lines can also be the deciding factor between taking the shot straight on and also taking shots from different angles. So, but anyway, as you can see here, you wouldn't want to take a leading lines photo from like this perspective, because then the viewer's eyes is going straight outside of the photo, right? You don't want to have that happen, right? So a photo like this, this angle, again, the eyes are leading straight outside of the image, whereas in shooting from this angle, the eyes are leading into the image. So you would want to have that line on the other side of the frame. Even something like this, you're still bringing the eye to the... So right now here, this bridge, if I angle it that direction, the bridge is now bringing the eye to me, into the middle of the frame. So you always want to have the lines of the photo bring the eye to where you want the people to look. So you don't want the lines to be leading outside the frame. So we're going to walk a little bit down here for a little minute. So we're getting kind of closer, but as you can see, that the more that I walk down the path, follow this path here, the more that the bridge will start now from this side of the frame and move towards the middle. So whenever you're taking a photo of a bridge or something like that, you want to factor in the lines of the bridge and bring the eye into the photograph. So either we could be under the bridge like we were before, bringing the eye to the middle of the frame, or here you're sitting there using the line of the bridge to bring the eye into the photo. So that's why an angle like this is much better, you know. And if you're going to change up the perspective, then you can sit back and utilize this, and you can utilize the path that we're on. So, but if you were to, let's say, frame your shot over on this side, let's see if I can practice that somewhere a little bit. So if you're trying to take a photo from this angle, then you got to worry about the road here, because now the road is leading the viewer's eyes outside of the image. You don't want to do that. You want to utilize the road into the image. So now, you know, you're going to have that in the center of the frame. So there, you're kind of utilizing now the top of the bridge to kind of frame your shot, and maybe you can have a subject there. But now you can see now you're utilizing the road to bring the eye into the frame, into the image. So that's what leading lines is. So that's why, you know, bridges are popular photos, train tracks are popular, they give the message of infinity. But so that's what leading lines is. It's utilizing the lines and patterns and symmetry to bring the viewer into the image. So that's just a little bit of a tidbit. We're going to show you some more photos from here, and we'll go from there. So that's leading lines for you. Thank you for watching. So I'm now here on the other side of the bridge, and you'll be able to see in the photograph, you won't be able to see here much in the photo. But right around there is where you want to shoot. So the cool thing about this angle, so this is again a good angle of the bridge. You want to make sure that you get the top of that bridge. And I'm probably blocking the payoff now, but you'll again see that you're utilizing the line of the bridge to bring the eye into the... So real quick, I'm going to step out of the frame to kind of show you how I would go about framing this shot. So you're going to see now some changes that happen on the camera. So now the payoff of the shot is right here. So you don't want to sit back and have the payoff way over here on the right side of the frame, right? You want to keep that payoff right here in the middle, and then you could utilize the branches, fill up that area, stuff like that. I'd probably want to move over a little bit and not have these branches block the buildings that are on the other side. So I'm going to actually move over a little bit. And if I move over too far, then those branches now start blocking some of the payoff of the image. So the payoff of the image, what I want viewers to see, is the other side of the bridge over here. So I want to have that more towards the center. So somewhere right around there is good. Then the branches aren't blocking somewhere, so you can take a good photo from there. I can move over even more. So now you get some of that bridge. The payoff is now still in the shot where the leading lines are going. The lines are working in your favor. You got the branches over here that aren't blocking the buildings, so you can still see the buildings. So this is kind of utilizing leading lines to your advantage, and maybe even raise that up. And now you can see the top of the bridge too. So that's a cool shot. So as far as leading lines, you could sit back and have this line up here. You can have this line here. I'm going to utilize my finger here. So you want this to start at the corner of the frame. So there. You can raise it up and go to this one. And you can go even further up there. I'm using a wide-angle lens for this shot. Now, with a wide-angle lens, the payoff on the other side of the bridge is going to look even further away than it does to the regular eye. So I'm shooting 10 millimeters. This is the 10 to 22 lens. So if I go to 22, you get a little bit more compression that way. So with a shot like this, because the payoff is on the other side of the bridge, I'd probably do more photos at this range than I would at the wide-angle lens. So here, notice how the payoff is even further away. So then you're using more of infinity. If I want the payoff to be the other end of the bridge, I would then sit back and utilize compression. Now, compression in photography is the topic that we're going to cover on a different day. Right now we're talking about leading lines. but it shows you a good thing to keep an eye on when you're sitting there taking the photo as far as the payoff. So keep going a little bit further. So now if I go a little bit further there, so now if I shoot from this angle, now those buildings are less of a factor. So now if I don't want to have those buildings in the factor, so the buildings I'm talking about, the buildings that are over here in this part of the frame, I don't want the viewer to be looking over there. I want the viewer to just be focusing on the other side of the bridge. So a shot like this, having those branches, they're kind of distracted from it, and it kind of covers up that area nicely, and it kind of gives a better, more of a frame to the bridge. So now, especially, and now when you're factoring the rule of thirds, this is a great angle for the rule of thirds, because now you have your leading lines, which is what we're talking about, but now you have 1/4 here, which is where the beginning of the bridge is, and the payoff as far as the leading lines is now going to be on this side of the frame. So now this side is where the other frame. So if you were to divide your photo into two sections or 3 sections, so you have over here one side of the frame, the first column of the bridge, the middle of the bridge, the other side of the bridge is going to be over here, and then you have your branches towards the end. So that's how you're going to want to frame your shot here. So you're factoring in rule of thirds, you're factoring in leading lines, and if you zoom in properly, you're going to factor in compression as well. So you can see how all these different factors make for a good photo. So let me real quick. All right, so that's a little bit about leading lines. Thank you for watching Photography 101. This is Changing Optics with Scott Roth. We hope to see you next week. Remember to click subscribe. Keep an eye on our Facebook page at Changing Optics, and check out our Instagram page where we feature a lot of photographers that are doing photo projects. Get inspired by them. That's Changing_Optics. You can also find us on Twitter. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Alright, so now we're going to take you up to the Fort Lee Historical Park. It's the most popular spot where a lot of photos of the George Washington Bridge are taken from. So if you want to be cliche and do all the kind of tourist photos, this is the spot to be. So this is where all the information about the park and the bridge is. So you can see it behind me. So this gives a great advantage point, gives great views of the bridge. So if you want to come out here, this is a good spot to do it. Alright, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like up here. It's a great spot to come and also do long exposure photos, because you get that upper, higher end view of the bridge. So this is where you can get all the cars late at night if you want to do a long exposure, show the red and white lines in the photos. This is a good advantage point to do that from. So anyway, thank you for watching. Click subscribe and keep an eye out for us next week. Thank you.